Okay, next is the 46664 campaign, which was a campaign headed by Mandela, or at least spearheaded by Mandela. He was the figurehead for helping to uh, cure AIDS ravaged Africa. And it was supposed to be a series of concerts. Now, what they will tell you is that his prison number was 466 and he was imprisoned in 64. But there's always going to be a backstory, a cover story to cover up when uh, the forces of evil are doing things in the darkness and they don't want it totally discovered. So the devil must flash his sign in front of you so you know that it's him and you can willingly choose so he can accuse you rightfully to the Father and say, well, hey, look, I showed it that there was me. But then at the same time, he's a deceiver, so he can't just flat out tell you, oh yeah, the 46664, yeah, that's some Luciferian madness. But those who have eyes to see will see. Again, there's the Zulu and reptilian connection. We know the Zulu presence and legend all throughout Africa, especially South Africa. There is the legend of the Chatahuri, which is the reptilian being that you will hear Credo Mutwa and others who have interviewed in Africa about the reptilians. You will hear him talk about these beings and that they are real beings indeed. So in the African continent, you have a black leg of the New World Order. Of course, it's a New World Order, so it's a worldwide organization of criminals, of Luciferian criminals. And unfortunately, I hate to bring the news that Nelson Mandela is no exception to the rule. If you can rule a area so important to the New World Order and not be one of their members, you be the first. So we want to be aware of that. Also, let me see what else was there. And for any who have any doubts about the Zulu connection, there's also a mountain range or group of mountains called the Drakensberg Mountains. Uh, and Drakensberg only means Dragonsburg. And of course, if the fallen angels, if these other beings came down to the kings of the earth first, the first kings of the earth were the African kings and queens of the earth, or those who were in the areas we would consider Africa today that are now called the Middle East. So Nelson Mandela probably was a descendant of these ancient kings and queens, and the whole thing could have been set up from the imprisonment on down. But again, that's speculation. But what we do know is the 46664 campaign, which had the slogan of "It's in our hands," which was the same slogan that the Census Bureau had in the last census where I worked for those clowns. Their slogan was also "It's in our hands." And when I broke ties with them by way of a layoff, everybody received the same layoff, but everybody didn't get the same compensation, unemployment pay, and mine was 666. So the 666 and the in our hands connection is one more reason that we need to look twice at folks when they set them up in front of you. That's sharp tongue, messy Jesse, all the rest of them. And they say, hey, this is your black leader. We need to look at their background and their history and listen to the naysayers. And then draw a big composite picture, see what's really going on. So we'll be back with Mo. Shalom, y'all.